We've all seen the movies, heads spinning, guttural voices, priests battling evil with faith and holy water. These stories, like The Exorcist, haunt our nightmares, but they're fiction, or are they? Long before Hollywood, a real story unfolded, one so disturbing it could have inspired every exorcism film ever made. This is the documented account of Clara Germana Cele, a young girl in early 20th century South Africa. Her life was supposed to be simple, guided by faith and community. But something ancient and malevolent broke through, twisting her into a vessel for darkness. The events were witnessed by many, recorded by men of God whose faith was pushed to the brink. What they saw challenges our understanding of reality. The story of Clara Cele is a journey into true horror, not spectacle but a quiet, insidious change. Sometimes the most terrifying horrors aren't on a movie screen, they're real. The priests who faced this darkness weren't actors, they were fighting for a young girl's soul. Over a century has passed, but the story remains chilling. Before special effects, there was Clara. Terrified nuns, bewildered priests, and unholy phenomena inside a remote mission. To understand the fear that's echoed for generations, we must travel back in time. Natal, South Africa, 1906. The true story that inspired a century of nightmares. We must confront the darkness that claimed Clara Germana Cele. This is not fiction, this is history. The line between legend and reality is about to blur. Are you ready to step into the shadows? The story begins. Before the darkness, Clara Germana Cele was an ordinary 16-year-old orphan at St. Michael's Mission in Natal. She was gentle, pious, and deeply devoted to her faith. Her days were filled with prayer, school, and the routines of mission life. Clara was known for her calm demeanor and obedience. There were no signs of trouble, no rebellion, no instability. She was a model of religious devotion, a blank canvas untouched by the world's darkness. This innocence may have made her a target for what was to come. The records show a normal, reserved young woman with friends, duties, and faith. No one could have predicted the violent rupture that would shatter her life. The transformation wasn't gradual, it was sudden, shocking. The girl who prayed quietly would soon become unrecognizable. This was the calm before the storm. The priests and nuns had no idea that evil was about to invade their world. Clara's story is not just about horror, it's about the loss of innocence. The gentle girl was about to vanish forever. The storm was coming. The change began with a chilling confession. Clara told Father Erasmus Horner she'd made a pact with Satan. Almost immediately, her personality twisted into something dark and hostile. She became defiant, aggressive, and blasphemous. Nothing like the girl they knew. Sacred objects repulsed her. Crucifixes and holy water caused her pain. Her voice dropped to a guttural growl, and she tore at her clothes in rage. Most disturbingly, she spoke fluent German, Polish, and French, languages she'd never learned. The mission was thrown into fear and confusion. The nuns tried to comfort her but were met with violence. Clara's aggression grew. She became a danger to herself and others. The staff realized this was no ordinary rebellion or illness. They were witnessing classic signs of demonic possession. The shadow had fully fallen. The battle for Clara's soul was about to begin. The peaceful mission became a theater of terror. The transformation was complete. Clara was gone, replaced by something unrecognizable. The priests faced a force that defied all logic. The community was paralyzed by fear. The darkness was real, and it was here. The fight for Clara's soul would test their faith to its limits. The nightmare had only just begun. The phenomena escalated. Clara's voice revealed secrets no one else could know. She exposed the hidden sins of priests, using knowledge as a weapon. Multiple voices, animalistic growls, and foreign tongues poured from her throat. Her strength became superhuman. It took several adults to restrain her. Her body contorted in impossible ways, writhing like a serpent. The entity claimed to be Satan, boasting of its power and dominion. It described hell with chilling familiarity, mocking the priest's faith. The priest documented everything, preparing for a confrontation. The whispers were a declaration of war. The priests steeled themselves for the ultimate test. The abyss was calling. The most terrifying phenomenon was levitation, witnessed by over 170 people. Clara floated above her bed, defying gravity as priests tried to restrain her. Her skin blistered at the touch of holy water, strange marks appeared and vanished. Objects moved on their own, the air turned icy, and foul odors filled the room. Knocking sounds echoed from the walls, evil seemed to warp reality itself. The mission became a haunted house with Clara at its center. These were not isolated incidents, they were public spectacles. The community was gripped by fear and fascination. Clara's possession was a terrifying public display of the paranormal. The line between the natural and supernatural had been obliterated. The church authorized a formal exorcism. Fathers Horner and Mansuetti prepared for battle. The rite began on September 10, 1906, lasting 2 grueling days. As prayers began, Clara erupted, screaming, breaking restraints, attacking with unnatural strength. The entity hurled blasphemies, mocking their faith. The room filled with chaos, overturned furniture, a stench of rot and supernatural phenomena. Clara levitated, her body contorted, shrieking at holy water. The priests pressed on, their faith unbroken. On the second day they made a final appeal, commanding the demon to reveal itself and depart. The entity claimed it would only leave if Clara willed it. Father Horner pressed a crucifix to her lips. She resisted, then, with a final scream, kissed the cross. Her body collapsed, limp and exhausted. The exorcism was over. The demon was gone. The priests had won, but at a terrible cost. Clara was free, but forever changed. The nightmare had ended, but the scars remained. After the final scream, an unnatural silence filled the room. Clara lay still, utterly exhausted. The priests, drained and shaken, approached her cautiously. The evil presence was gone, but the cost was clear. Clara awoke with no memory of the exorcism, just a void where the horror had been. She was fragile, confused, and deeply scarred. The nuns reported she was quiet and withdrawn, forever changed. The priests, too, were marked by what they'd witnessed. They had faced pure evil and survived, but the burden of knowledge was heavy. The silence that followed was not peace, but recovery. The battle was over, but the trauma lingered. The shadows would never fully lift. After the exorcism, secrecy descended on St. Michael's mission. The church ordered silence, no publicity, no sensationalism. The priests documented everything, but their diaries were for church eyes only. The story was contained, but rumors spread. Over 170 witnesses could not be silenced. The legend grew, whispered through communities and into paranormal lore. The church's attempt to control the narrative only deepened the mystery. The silence made Clara's story more compelling, a legend the church could not erase. The truth was out, and it would haunt history. What truly happened to Clara Germana Cele in 1906? Was she possessed by a demon, or suffering from a misunderstood illness? Over 170 witnesses swore they saw the impossible. Levitation, supernatural strength, unlearned languages. Was it mass hysteria, or a violation of natural law? The details of her pact and why she was chosen remain a mystery. Clara lived quietly after, forever marked by the ordeal. The silence of the church only deepens the enigma. Her story forces us to confront the unknown, forces we may never understand. Whether you believe in demons or the mysteries of the mind, Clara's story is a journey into terror. The enigma endures, a haunting question echoing through time. What if it was real?